And finally, for a suggestion, we need, let's go with a type of supernatural being, perhaps a ghost, a werewolf, I don't know, anything like that. A type of supernatural being. We'll just take the first one that comes in, and that will be for the dating game. We've got two people who like the idea of vampire, so we will go with that. All right, so for this dating game, we're going to have all the improvisers involved in some way, and Viney will be our key bachelorette who is looking for a date. Viney is playing the vampire, and the vampire is looking for a date, and the date can be any number of people, and they will be coming up with their own characters as we go based on her descriptions of what she's looking for in a date. And for this, we have 4 possible dates. We have date number 1, Paul, date number 2, Kat, date number 3, Danny, and date number 4, Z. So they will be in that order, and I will be your lovely host. Welcome, everyone, back to everyone's favorite, the dating game. I'm your host, Chip occasionally. And tonight, we will be choosing a date for our amazing, lovely bachelorette, Jacqueline, the vampire. Jacqueline,
Bonsoir.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Bonsoir. I am originally from France, and I grew up in the 17th century. I have a very mixed accent because I have traveled extensively, not because some people can't do French accents. I like long walks in the park at midnight, and I enjoy going to the theatre, especially to horror shows. Rocky Horror Picture Show is one of my favorites. And I also enjoy baking with blood.
Wow, that sounds exciting. If you could say what's the number one thing you are looking for in someone you would date, what would that be?
It would be, they need to be a party. A party.
Fantastic. And are there any absolute deal breakers when it comes to somebody you're looking to date?
I would not like to date an early riser.
No early risers. All right, fantastic. Let's start introducing our potential dates. Date number 1, please tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
Greetings, and greetings to the young lady. Very nice to meet a fellow vampire, and also one like me that is so well traveled that an accent is very hard to pin down. I visited Wales recently and hence had some of those valley tones. Anyway, going back to it. My name is Countdown. And there's only one thing I like better than sucking people's blood. To get my energy in the day is sitting down with a nice cup of tea and a biscuit and watching my favorite daytime quiz show on Channel 4, Countdown. Very nice to meet your acquaintance.
Lovely, fantastic. And do we have our date number 2? Seems like she doesn't have her camera on at the moment. There she is. Please tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
Oh, hello. I am a believer of unicorns. Yes. I love unicorns. I'm just a bit nuts, really. They call me Nuts Sally. And I can go for long walks. I love a good long walk. Yeah. And I'm a bit of a party. Like, I'm really like, but everyone seems to really like me. I'm a delight to have. I'm not really an early riser, even though I'm always really jumpy. You'd think I'd be an early riser, so don't worry too much. But yes, I'd really love to be interested in you, and I can take you on those lovely long walks, you know, along a beach maybe, but at night time. And you know, I appreciate everybody's you know, morale. I like to be all over the place. Ha! Just a bit nuts.
Lovely. Nut Sally, I would not have guessed that's why you earned that nickname. Bachelor or date number 3, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Jacob, and I also like to go through the park sometimes, just not so much anymore. Not allowed to. I do also like cooking with bodily fluids. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, mostly my sweat. You know, I'm a big guy. I too, I don't consider myself an early riser, although that has also gotten me into trouble in the past as well.
All right, and finally, date number 4.
Yes. Hello. My name is Gertrude, and I also love to bake with blood. Yes. The more blood that's possible, the better it is. In fact, when I'm on my monthlies, there's a party to be had. Oh yes, we enjoy lots and lots of cake.
Well, our bachelor did definitely say she wanted a party. All right, fantastic. All right, so Jacqueline,
Oui, oui.
when you're on a date, do you like surprises?
Well, it depends on what sort of surprise it is. If it is the surprise of dawn breaking through the window, that is a big no-no. But if it is the surprise of a freshly slaughtered lamb, then yes, please.
All right. Well, let's find out what each of the dates have in mind. So, number 1, count, repetitive count. What would you do to surprise Jacqueline on a date?
It's Countdown, by the way. Big fan of the daytime quiz show, Channel 4, Countdown. I think I would surprise her by my amazing prowess, manhood, and ability to solve the daily countdown conundrum in under 3 seconds. And I think that would surprise and amaze any lady, I think.
Fantastic. Same question, Nut Sally. How would you surprise your date?
Well, I would take her on a lovely moonlit beach walk, and then a romantic steak dinner.
Ooh. Now I'm wondering if that's steak EAK or STAKE, because that would be a very different kind of date, wouldn't it?
Oh.
Lovely.
Yeah. It would just be the nice steak, you know, from a cow.
Fantastic. Number 3, Jacob, how would you surprise your date? I'm a bit afraid of the answer in this one.
The same way I surprise all of my dates. I take a shower to make myself all nice and clean. I'll put on some nice new clothes, nice little jacket, and then I might have a little something cooking downstairs in the kitchen, because again I'm a cook. I like to cook things with bodily fluids. I might make a delicious 4-course meal.
Fantastic. That sounds exciting. I am not eating over at your place. And number 4, Gertrude, how would you surprise your date?
Well, then I would obviously go down to the cellar and take up all of the knives and every piece of weaponry that I can muster. And then we would go on a hunt. We would go on our own special hunt that we would travel through the forest. We would plough through hedgerows, and we would then supper on whatever we found.
That is fantastic. Are you starting to get a good sense, Bachelorette?
Yes, I think I could be very close to making a choice.
Excellent. We're just going to narrow it down. Do you like music?
Well, yes, I prefer things that were composed by, Beethoven.
That sounds
Mozart.
fantastic. We don't care.
Oh,
That's very boring, but lovely that you have such taste. If you dates were about to write a song to declare your love for this date, 1 or 2 words, give us the title only. Number 1.
Would you mind if I quickly demonstrate the song I like to make love to? Because it lasts exactly the amount of time that I can have sex. It goes like this.
Well, who wouldn't be enticed by that? Number 2.
Unicorn love with unicorn noises.
With unicorn noises. That's essential. Number 3.
I would call my song Naked Forbidden Love.
Ooh. Sounds mysterious. And number 4.
Bat out of hell, because
why not? Honestly. Well, are you ready to make your choice as to who you want to date? Well, that's too bad because you don't get to choose. Instead, the audience is going to choose for you. So audience, please put in who is going to be the date for Jacqueline. Is it number 1, countdown, number 2, Nut Sally, number 3, Jacob, or number 4, Gertrude? You may put in the names or the numbers, either way. Ooh, we have some voting going in already. We have a tie at this point. 3-way tie.
I am sorry, but I do not want to date Nut Sally. I want to eat her, and not in a sex way.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. All right, we have.
I would help you. I will get the weapons.
She's my bag.
We have a vote for. We have even votes for Nut Sally, for Jacob, and for Gertrude, and so we are going to default to the only one that didn't get votes, which is count. You win the date. Congratulations.
Oh, this is a surprise for me. If it's not a personal question, madam, would you like to come back to my place and play the numbers game?
I'm not sure. I think countdown is still too early for me. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not sure.
Oh, rats. I'll ask Nick Hewer now he's retired. Bye-bye,
Love is in the
everybody.
air. What a successful time.
Bye,
Thank you. That's
everybody.
all for Dating Game. And that's also all for Portsmouth Improv Experience. We have been your improv source, and we do free drop-in classes and sessions every 3rd Saturday of the month. Please follow us on Facebook, Portsmouth Improv Experience. And at this point, I will turn back the show over to the number 2 people.
Whoa.
Okay, right. I think we're back in control now after we've got hacked again. Very strange things going on this evening. So without further ado, we're going to go on to our next stand-up act, making her debut on the 2 show this evening. I think coming from Portsmouth, like many other people tonight, or some other people tonight. It is Emma Ashley King, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So I first realised I had a problem as a child when I realised I had a crush on Scar. You know, a cartoon lion from The Lion King. I think that should have been one of the first indications that I was a little bit of a geek. Growing up, my first email address was Magic Girl Forever, but a number 4 and then EVA. And I won the AOL Witch or Wizard of the Week. So naturally, I got bullied in school. I'm a 32-year-old woman who still introduces herself to people as being in Hufflepuff and carries a Star Wars handbag to work. I also wrote in my covering letter of my latest job that I have many hobbits instead of I have many hobbies, genuinely by accident. Do sometimes sign off emails with Hail Hydra, and I refer to my diary as Captain's Log. It's going well for me, the 30s. Sometimes I do wonder why people are staring at me a little bit strangely on public transport. I realise it might be because I'm going to my happy place, swaying backwards and forwards and going, I'm a happy little hobbit, I'm a happy little hobbit with hairy feet. The last bit I don't actually say out loud, that's just a fact. Thing is, I do love fandom. I think fandom is wonderful, but is there anything creepier than hearing the words, do I know you from the forum? So that's a little bit outdated now, and it's more thirsting over men on Tumblr old enough to be our daddies. I really enjoy graphic novels. I love comics because I think that they really give you something to marvel at. Terrible, I know. There are certain thoughts that keep me up at night, like what would happen if Bruce Banner turned into the Incredible Hulk during sex? I actually wrote a piece of fan fiction about that, which I titled Unprecedented Growth, which could also be the title for a novel about Cummings' nose during lockdown 1. Another thing that keeps me up late at night is, you know, if anybody who's watched Sons of Anarchy, where they live, it's a little bit like if you lived in Albert Square in EastEnders, you just move. All that murder and violence, I don't understand why people stay there. And in SpongeBob SquarePants, is the whole thing filmed over just a couple of days, or is SpongeBob constantly moving house because he lives in a pineapple under the sea and the pineapple would decompose? But there is one thing SpongeBob did get right, and that's that squids really are pretentious arseholes. They're fantastic at fingering the clarinet. Perverts. Sometimes I think about alternative superhero names. Tony Stark Naked, Wonder Bra Woman, The Incredible Bulk. I think about some of the customers that used to annoy me at work, and Captain Tallywhacker or Sally Shitstain are the ones that kind of what I'd call them. As for me, I think I'd have to be Nihilism Girl or Captain Existential, something along those lines. One of my favourite things, though, in fandom has to be imagines. Now, if anybody doesn't know what imagines are, they're where people write things about fictional characters or actors. So it could be imagine marrying this person. Except for the problem with imagines is they tend to be either really tragic or really mundane. Here's a few of my favourites. Imagine Benicio del Toro making a microwave meal. Imagine Tom Hiddleston getting a restraining order against you. Imagine Keanu Reeves won't sit next to you on the tube because you smell so bad. And one I discovered the other day, my personal favourite, imagine being hit by the One Direction tour bus. They attend your funeral, and when you are buried, they dance on your grave. Along with the imagines, the other thing I love is fan fiction. Now, I was going to read a little bit of fan fiction for you, but bearing in mind how the rest of the night's gone, I'm not entirely sure that this is the right place to do a dramatic recital of Velocigina, which is a...
Do it!
Dinosaur sex. I can do it if you want to hear it. Cautiously at first, lest he somehow alarm her or turn her off, Joffrey began to lightly rub the area around her velocigina with his chin, nuzzling through the rough pebble folds of skin surrounding it with his tongue. The creature howled with a terrifying pridorial delight and thrust himself back against his mouth, knocking out his front teeth and ramming his lower jaw deep inside him. So I'm going to finish on that. Can't believe I'm going to finish on that. I hope no one has ever finished on that. Actually, sorry, there is one other line from fan fiction that I will leave you with. Hermione gently rode the sorting hat, making his penis slick and wet. I have a sorting hat, and I think I've been using it wrong because sex toys are really expensive. Thanks, everyone. I've been Emma.
Woo! Woo! Thank you.
Thank you very much. Woo! Well, that was enlightening. I like dinosaurs, but I didn't realize they were so violent sexually. But there we go. You learn something new every day. I suppose maybe it's just the size and strength of the dinosaur. It didn't really mean to be violent. But anyway, let's not go down this rabbit hole. So next up, we have a exciting video from one of our sort of number 2 crew. Let's take a look. It's probably mad.
Hello. The pandemic has been cruel to the British Space Agency. Astronauts such as myself have not been able to earn a living by going to moon. In a normal year, I would be paid literally dozens of pounds to travel to moon and back again. But this year, no, we've been trapped on planet Earth, not allowed out of the house. And also, we didn't get paid much. We were on to government furlough scheme, and they weren't entirely convinced we was legitimate. So, like all great small businessmen and women and astronauts, we have pivoted our business. We have created a unique series of greeting cards, and in a desperate attempt to beat the competition, we have targeted events and life events and other events that might not be catered for by other less imaginative greetings card companies. So please support your British Space Agency and astronauts by purchasing some of our lovely merchandise, please, so that I can stop eating food out of bins and return gloriously to the moon where I belong. Thank you. Goodbye. Sorry to hear about the state of your kids. Congratulations on the recent discovery of your clitoris. Commiserations on the catastrophic collapse of your gay marriage. With deepest sympathy on your recent descent into chronic alcoholism. Congratulations on your daughter's new job in anal prostitution. Sorry to hear your husband ran off with a hooer. With deepest sympathy on the mass extinction event. The British Space Agency is based here, above a chicken cottage and a bubble waffle house in Wakefield. Please help us. Please help the British Space Agency and astronauts like me. Thank you.
Okay, and we're back in the room. Thank you for that lovely, enlightening video. Maybe the British Space Agency could answer my questions about my menstrual cycle as NASA did not. But again, maybe not. Now we've just got one act left this evening, but before we go on to our last act, I want to get something off my chest. And I have been trying to bite my tongue on this subject because no one likes to know it all, but I don't know who needs to hear this apart from apparently everybody on Facebook, but it's than with an A in the middle, okay? If you want to compare two things, it's got an A. If you're talking about something that happened after something else, it's then with an E. So when you conspiracy theorists say, I'd rather eat dog shit than wear a mask, well, good. I'm glad you're covering up your dog shitty breath with a mask after wearing it. And if you say, I'd rather shag my own mum than you, that's not an insult. That's just a very disappointing threesome as far as I'm concerned, Raoul. So that's it. That's all I want to say on that subject. So without further ado, let's go on. Also making his debut on the Two Show to our final act of this evening. It is Mr. Glenn Brayley.
Woo!
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be the final act for you tonight. Hopefully we'll end on a high note. So I want to start off with talking to you about the problems that I got with portion sizes. So the other day I was at the supermarket, and at the till I saw there was a packet of crisps and it said 95 calories on the front of it in a big yellow circle. And I thought, that's ideal. I'm a little bit peckish. I could do with something to eat. So I paid for the shopping, got the crisps, and I was walking back to the car. And on the way back, I'd eaten pretty much the entire bag by the time I set foot outside. I was that hungry. And I turned it over to have a look to see what other flavours are available. And on the back it said 95 calories per portion, number of portions 2. So this is a bag of crisps the size of my hand, and it reckoned that there was 2 portions in there. I don't like that sort of thing. It's like when you buy a cheesecake and it says 400 calories per portion, serves 8. No, it doesn't. It's going to fucking serve me. And as a parent, it's even worse when you're trying to sort of ration your children's calorie intake, because it's very rare you'll find a bag of sweets where it will say something sensible like 70 calories per 6 sweets. Normally, it will list it per 100 grams. So what you've got to do is you've got to carry around a little set of scales with you, like some sort of fucked up sweetie dealer. So I've got 2 kids. I have a daughter, Amelia, who is 11, going on Satan. And I've got a son, Oscar, who's 9, going on and on and on about dinosaurs. They're both brilliant kids, you know, and I want to do the best job I can do as a parent. So I've been looking at parenting guides online, and I read one the other day that said, you know, children will quite often offer you food because they've got nothing else to give you, and they want to show you that they love you, so they want to give you something. So I always used to say, you know, that's your food, you eat it. I want you to grow big and strong. But since I read that article, I started eating the food that Oscar was offering me. Until one day we were going driving out to the park, and he turned to me and just out of nowhere he went, "Dad?" I went, "Yes, son." And he went, "I'd never poison you." So I'm a little bit worried that my son is a Russian agent. Amelia, she's great. She comes out with some absolutely fantastic things. They're a little bit sort of bombshell-like. Like one day I was cooking some food and she walked into the kitchen and just out of nowhere went, "Smells like poppers in here." I went, "Pardon?" She went, "You know, poppers." "I really don't understand what you're getting at here, honey." She went, "You know, poppers, the chili with the cheese in the middle." I was like, "Oh, right, jalapeno poppers, yes, that's what I'm cooking. It's very important that you use the word jalapeno. Don't fucking go back to school tomorrow and tell them that my kitchen smells like poppers." She recently told me as well that she was non-binary, and in her standard fashion, she decided to do that in a very dramatic way. She came in through the front door and went, "You no longer have a daughter." And I thought for a second she'd disowned me. I was quite pleased when she told me that she felt that she was non-binary, because for a long time she'd been so cold and emotionless that I really thought she was a robot. It sort of progressed from there. One day she again walks into the doorway of the kitchen and she said, "I've started a religion at school. We're called Satan Spawn, and Satan is my god now." I went, "Okay." And she went, "Oh, no, it's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun." I went, "Have you told your mum?" And she went, "No," just walked out. The other day she said to me that she's moved on from the idea. I have to stop referring to her as a she, as the correct briefing now is he, them, which I find very confusing. But he told me that he feels like a demi-boy And that was something that I'd never heard of before. And, you know, I try to be understanding. Again, I want to be the best dad that I can. So I decided to have a look on the internet for it. In safe search, naturally, I'm not going to put what is a demi boy into my standard Google search because I don't want to see those fucking targeted ads coming up. But when I looked through it, one of the first things that popped up on the list underneath what is a demi boy was, what are the 47 genders? 47? I haven't got fucking hope. Oscar's not without his little idiosyncrasies as well. He's autistic, so he sometimes struggles to understand how the world works, and he doesn't really fully understand sometimes what he comes out with. Like, he's a really keen gamer. We've been playing a lot of PlayStation together. We got a game the other week which is called Earth Defense Force, where you've got to blow up giant insects with high-tech guns, and he absolutely loves it. And his favourite weapon in it is the rocket launcher. But he doesn't call it a rocket launcher. For some reason, he calls it a torpedo launcher. I've got no idea where that's come from. I think he might have seen something about a submarine, and since then, anything that goes whoosh and bang is a torpedo. So there's a gun that fires 5 or 6 of them at a time, and we were playing a level, and he fired that off, and he blew up a load of things, and went, "Yeah, multi-pedo." And that was hilarious, but I didn't really feel that I had to correct him on saying multi-pedo, because if you say that in public, nobody's going to be looking around for some sort of hydra-headed paedophile, are they? They're just going to think, what? And then they'll just carry on with their day. So as you play the game, you unlock bigger and better guns, and he got this massive rocket launcher, and he fired it off and blew up this huge monster, and he just went, "Yeah, mega pedo." So that's the point where I've got to take some action. So I said, okay, if you're going to say that, it's really, really important that you say torpedo, okay? You can't just say pedo, because pedo is somebody that wants to do really horrible things to kids. And he went, "Okay, Daddy, I get it, I get it." And for the rest of the day, he was saying mega torpedo. So I thought, okay, we've moved on. The following day, we went to play tennis, and we went with my dad and his girlfriend, and it was me and Oscar. And Oscar's pretty handy at tennis, and he's getting around the court, and he's getting to a lot of shots, and he's hitting them back, and he really gets hold of one. It's a massive belt like that, boom, and it goes flying, and he goes, "Mega pedo." And that puts me in a really, really impossible position, because it's not like, you know, somebody shouts mega pedo, you can't just immediately double take over your shoulder, because otherwise you look like some sort of fucking sweetie weighing mega pedo. So I thought, okay, what I've got to do is just style it out for a little bit. So I just sort of gave it a couple of seconds and had a little sly look around, and nobody was paying any attention. So, you know, that was fine. I did notice a guy get up off of a bench, do his mac up and fuck off. How much longer have I got left, Viney?
Just a couple of minutes, if that's all right.
Couple of minutes? Yep, no worries. I'll roll back to my my tried and tested then. So I went on a holiday a few years ago to Amsterdam. So, you know, there I was, 36 years of age, 2 kids, first holiday to Amsterdam. And I don't mean to say that, you know, I have 2 kids, although we know that's the truth. I mean, like, me and my mate, we were like 2 kids over there, 2 really fucked up, drugged up kids, just like the ones in the basement. But we got on it pretty much as soon as we touched down. We ended up in this coffee shop off the main square in a place called Smokies. And we walked in, and pretty much as soon as we got our stuff and sat down, this waiter came over to us and he went, "Hi guys, we've got a special on these cookies today. Usually they are €10, but today we're selling for just 5. They smell really potent, but they're not actually that strong." I was a little bit dubious, you know. I know enough about Amsterdam that even though it's full of Americans and naked women, it's not the internet. You shouldn't just blindly accept any cookies that you're offered. Particularly with that really vague description, "They are not that strong." That's the sort of thing that you'd hear in a nature documentary. "Compared to the alpha male, the silverback is not that strong. But we put him up against this hamster, and he fucking ruined it." And then turned it into a rather attractive codpiece. Can you imagine how weird it would be to get a sexy phone call from David Attenborough? "I bet you're practically sliding off of your chair right now, aren't you, you filthy whore? I can hear you dripping from here."
Oh, wow.
But anyway, we'll go back to Amsterdam. we spent 3 days in the city, you know, and trying to sort of explore, and we didn't really get very far. In reality, we spent 3 days wandering around the same 4 or 5 blocks over and over again with no idea where the fuck we were. And after that sort of traipsing around, my feet were hurting, my back was hurting, and as much as I love weed, I really needed some proper painkillers. So we set off to find a pharmacy. On the way there, I punched a Holland and Barrett, and that immediately struck me as very weird, because shouldn't that have just been a Barrett? Okay, we'll let that one slide. Eventually, I found a pharmacy, and I went in there and said, "Hi, can I grab a packet of codeine?" And the guy behind the counter said, "Codeine?" It was the same guy from the cafe, oddly enough. He went, "Oh, we can't sell you codeine without a prescription over here." I went, "Really? Because in England, I can just like walk into the supermarket and buy it." And he went, "Oh, I guess we're just a little bit more strict." I went, "Okay, I got a packet of paracetamol." I went back outside to my mate, and he went, "Did you get your codeine then?" I went, "No, they wouldn't sell me any. Apparently, they're a little bit more strict." Well, what's next then, mate? Shrooms or whores? And the holiday to Amsterdam came shortly after my second divorce. I won't go into it in too much detail. Essentially, the breakdown of the marriage came down to a difference in beliefs. So I believed her when she said we should get some therapy and work things out. She believed I was too stupid to find out she was fucking another guy. For a while after we split up, I like the. I don't mind it. I prefer laughter for that one. But for a while after we split up, I was still using her Nectar card, and it really used to annoy me that I was spending the money and she was getting the benefit. But that was pretty much like the entire marriage. I was putting in all the effort, she was reaping the benefit. But I came up with a plan. So what I did was every day for a month, I'd go into Sainsbury's in the morning and I'd buy 6 cucumbers and a tube of KY jelly. In the evenings, I come back and return them because I'm not made of money. After the first week, I started to get some funny looks from the staff that worked there. As I moved into the second week of doing it, they started to whisper as I passed. Towards the end of the month, when I walked in, they were blatantly to my face go, "Look at that guy. He must have an arsehole like a Pringles tube." But like I said, I was playing the long game. So that is why, to this day, every single time my ex goes into Sainsbury's, she gets coupons out of the till for cucumbers and KY jelly. So that's how I got Sainsbury's, to tell her to go and fuck us. That should take me somewhere near to the end of those 2 minutes, I think. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Glenn, for closing up our show on that lovely note. I know the pitfalls of the old Nectar points because Sainsbury's really does know what you buy lots of, and we were told that we were the top customers in Portsmouth, Southampton, Sainsbury's for buying moist toilet paper.
Wow.
We buy the most, and there's only 2 of us in our household. It's just because, you know, basically my husband had piles once and he's got to be careful with his bot.
Yeah, that's why we believe you.
That's one for the posters.
That's not
in town.
why would I have that as an excuse? Like he had piles. Anyway, right. Well, I think we can all agree we've had a lovely show. It's been full of laughs and strange happenings. Thank you everyone for coming. And please donate to the cause if you can. Bye.
Sit down and relax. It's time for number 2. It's awesome and fun fact. Let's release the number 2 show.